got two more things to say. The first is, it's going to be painful. It's going to be costly. It's going to be difficult. You see, those people standing there at the Great Commission, they decided that they were going to give their life to this cause, that they were going to go, that they were going to make disciples, that they were going to put into practice the things that Jesus had taught them over the last few years. But do you know what happened to most of those disciples? Stephen was stoned, Paul was murdered, Peter was hung upside down on the cross. Most of them were actually martyred. There's a great cost to being a part of the Justice Revolution. You see, the thing about the cross is, we're told that we're supposed to carry it. And it's not like something you carry in your hand that's got a handle on, and you swing down the road as you go to work and you whistle away. The cross is heavy. The cross is difficult to carry. The cross is painful. Sometimes you fall over, and hopefully those around you help you up. The central symbol of our faith is a cross. Amen? Yeah. Not an armchair. A cross. We're not called to be comfortable, to sit down and relax and enjoy our lives. We watch them passing by. We're called to carry the cross. A life of radical sacrifice. It's going to be costly, and it's going to be difficult. The last thing is, guess what? You're going to get it wrong. Do you know how I know that? Because I get it wrong all the time. Most days I get it wrong. Most days I struggle. I've committed my life to a life of justice. That is all I want. Justice, oceans of it. But I mess up. I get it wrong. I don't do the right thing. But my heart's in the right place. You might go from here and it might be 3 weeks on and you'll probably find yourself in your car again listening to your music. Hopefully Matt Redman. And as you're going along, cruising, you see a child at the side of the road. And you just turn away and carry on. That's going to happen. And when it happens, you've got to remind yourself that it's okay to fail. As long as you don't give up. I've noticed that you have some horses in India. I'm a very observant kind of fellow. And when I was about, I think I was 7. I hope I wasn't any older, because you'll realise why when I tell you this story. When I was about 7, I decided that I would like to be a horse rider. I'd seen it on the television and it looked kind of cool. It looked like it was a lot of fun. And you get to spend time with horses, and I wanted that. However, I didn't know where I could do this thing because I lived in a town that didn't have many horses. So I said to my parents, "Can I go to some horsey lessons?" And they were like, "Yeah, sure." So they found somewhere, and I was able to go for my first horse riding lesson with my brother Julian. We were both very, very excited. He'd been several times before, I'd never been before, it was my first time. And I get there and they say to you, "So tell us, Peter, are you a beginner? Are you an intermediate? Or are you an expert?" I'm an expert," I said. "Right, you've never been before and you're an expert." That's what my brother's thinking. So anyway, they asked my brother, "Are you a beginner? Are you an intermediate, an expert?" So he's kind of looking at me, "We're experts, right? Otherwise we won't get to go on the big horses." So my brother's like, "Yeah, we're experts." So anyway, they're like, "Okay, great, this is the name of your horse, Flash." So I'm like, "Okay, cool." And that was it, that was all they told me. So then I'm just kind of standing there thinking, what on earth do I do now? What am I supposed to do? So, well, maybe I should find my horse. So I go around and eventually I find this thing that says Flash, and I look inside, and there is a beast of a horse. I mean, this thing is not a horse, it's a dragon. They are absolutely huge. You have never seen anything like this. I'm not exaggerating. This thing was huge. I was 7, I was small as well. So I'm looking at Flash, and I'm thinking, how on earth am I going to get on that thing? I'm not calling it a horse, it wasn't a horse. So I kind of open the door, and I'm kind of looking around to see what other people are doing, and they're kind of dragging their horses into this big arena. So, alright, I'll do the same thing. So I'm tugging on this horse, desperately trying to get it to move. Eventually it moves, and I come out, and we go into this arena that's about, I don't know, 20 times the size of this. And people are on the horses, and then they're kind of going around in a circle. And there's this frightening woman in the middle who is just shouting at people. She's going, "Canter!" And she's going, "Trot!" She's saying all these words that mean nothing to me, and by the sounds of it mean nothing to you as well. So she's saying these things, and I'm thinking, what is going on? So anyway, I grab my horse and I take it into the middle, and after what seemed like 10 years, I managed to climb onto the horse, and I'm sitting there in the middle of this arena with everyone circling around. Everyone's kind of looking at me. And I'm thinking, now I've got to get this thing to start. How do you do that? I know. Giddy up. Come on, horsey. And then pat it on the backside. That's what you do, right? Get any animal to move by doing that. Get any human to move by doing that. So, start doing it. I feel bad, but I start doing a bit hard. The horse isn't doing anything. It's not responding. So then, I'm ashamed to tell you this, but I'll tell you this because I trust you. I pulled the horse's tail. But still, this horse didn't move. I mean, this is ridiculous. So I do what any 7-year-old child would do, okay? Don't judge me for it. And I begin to cry. Not just small tears, big tears. And not just a little, but a lot. And then I begin to say again, just what a 7-year-old say, "I want my mummy!" And I'm sat there in the middle of this thing, and everyone's looking at me, and this woman starts shouting at me, and I think, oh gosh. And anyway, they take both me and my brother, who apparently can't canter, and they take us out of that place. And do you know, this is really sad. I wanted to be a horse rider. Do you know how many times I've been horse riding since that day? I went once. Frightening experience. And I only went because Becca went and she didn't look scared. And it is sad because it was something I really wanted to do, but I got it wrong. What I should have done was I should have got straight back on that horse. I should have phoned them up. I should have said, I'm coming back next week and I want to give it another go. I also should have been realistic. And rather than saying I'm an expert, I probably should have been a bit more humble and said, hey, I'm a beginner. 2 things about that, and the reason I tell you the story. Number 1, when you fall over, which you will, get back on again. Number 2, don't pretend you're an expert when you're not. Don't try and do too much. Remember, actually all of us are beginners. Start with what you can manage. Reminds me, every New Year, I don't know what do you make New Year's resolutions?